CTV News at 6 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. An update this hour on what we first brought you at 5. A cyclist rushed to the hospital in Victoria unresponsive with critical head injuries after being hit by a van near downtown Victoria. It happened during the afternoon rush at about 4:30 this afternoon at the busy intersection of Blanchard and Bay. It remains closed at this hour as the crash analysts survey the scene. It is not clear yet what caused the crash. There were multiple witnesses and many 911 calls, but police say it's going to take some time to work through the various accounts of what happened.
He was bleeding from his head pretty bad, so everybody kind of went over to make sure, try to do what they could to make sure everything was okay. And I just hopped out because I work in construction, so I thought I'd get out and try to direct traffic or mitigate anything else happening. The driver is very shook up. She was pretty shocked that it happened.
Right now, witness accounts are kind of conflicting, so we're really locking this intersection down. We've got a cyclist that has serious injuries. He's been brought up to the hospital. We're waiting to hear word back on what those injuries are. Have heard that it was a head injury at the time of the collision.
No updated word on the cyclist's condition. Seriously hurt. Police say there was a helmet at the scene. They do not know yet if the cyclist was wearing it. The intersection of Bay and Blanchard in downtown Victoria is expected to be closed for a couple of more hours at least. It was not the big one, but there was a significant earthquake in Southern California today, big enough to rattle some nerves. A magnitude 4.7 quake rolled across a wide swath of Southern California this morning. Felt pretty sharply in the Palm Springs area. The epicenter was in the desert city of Anza, about 160 kilometers southeast of Los Angeles. No reports of any injuries or significant damage. Homeless people in Greater Victoria now have a better chance of finding stable, affordable housing. The province is providing a $400,000 a year rent supplement for people, for up to 103 people through the Streets to Homes program. That program is now in its third year and has already helped more than 130 people to get off the streets and live in affordable, stable housing. People with mobility issues now have better access to the legislature. This morning, the Mowat Pathway officially opened. In the past, the only way to avoid the stairs at the legislature was to use a back entrance, but now everyone of all abilities can go through the front doors.
Sometimes we don't think about access the way we should. The reality is that when anybody enters a building, they should enter at the same place everyone else enters that building. The legislature is the people's house, and now every person in British Columbia can feel comfortable that they can access it.
The Mowat entrance is named after Doug Mowat, who was MLA for Vancouver-Quilchena from 1983 to 1991. He was the first MLA in British Columbia to use a wheelchair. Members of his family attended the event today, and a plaque was dedicated in Mowat's honor. The Queen signed a charter today that sets out the Commonwealth's commitment to equal rights. The charter opposes all forms of discrimination and implicitly acknowledges gay rights. As a constitutional monarch, the Queen is not permitted to express her own political opinion, but the fact that she signed the charter very publicly in front of television cameras is seen as a sign that she not only endorses the changes, but fully, enthusiastically supports them. A decision in a U.S. courtroom today. New York City's ban on big, sugary soft drinks fizzled out one day before it was set to kick in. A state judge has invalidated the law. The ban limited the sale of drinks to no more than 16 ounces or 473 milliliters in an effort to reduce obesity. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg says his office plans to appeal the decision. Well, if you can't catch your own seafood, but you want to know where it comes from, you can now track the route from the fishing boat to your dinner plate online. Where exactly? You can do it through a new program called This Fish, created by Eco Trust Canada. Today, the province invested nearly $70,000 in the program as part of its Buy Local initiative. This Fish shows you where your meal was caught, who caught it, and even how the fisherman reeled it in. Participating restaurants and retailers have codes for each piece of seafood they sell, and when you buy it, you get the code.
And the purpose here is to make sure that we have a clear line between consumers through restaurants or retail stores and our fishermen, to make sure that their BC crabs end up on our BC plates.
Find out what kind of species the fish is, how it was caught, who the fisherman is, all the different conservation measures that are in place, whether it's Sea Choice, Ocean Wise, any of those certification programs, and the processor. If it was sent to Thrifties or a restaurant, they'd also be in the chain.
The program also allows you to go online to see a map of where your meal was sourced, and it lets you directly message the fisherman who caught it. To learn more about how to trace your food from the sea to your plate, you can visit thisfish.info. 2 beachcombers have been rescued from a remote area on the northwest coast of Vancouver Island, plucked off the rocks of Side Bay yesterday morning, just north of Brooks Peninsula in Quatsino Sound. The rescue was launched after they were reported overdue from their beachcombing trip. A Coast Guard crew spotted a fire on the isolated beach and helped to direct an Air Force helicopter to the scene. One of the men had been injured after falling from some rocks. Parksville is getting ready to be more active this spring with upgrades to its community park. It's getting a makeover and some new outdoor fitness equipment. The Parksville Lions Club initiated the project to provide more fitness options for seniors and for the community to keep it active and healthy. The Oceanside region has one of Canada's oldest populations.
We do have a lot of active seniors, but giving them another venue to interact, especially with the children here. Good for children to see the elderly people, shall we say. None of us want to think we're old. The elderly people engaging in exercise as well. It's great role modeling, and we're very pleased and proud to partner with the Parksville Lions Club and the City of Parksville in seeing this come to pass.
We're trying to make this fun. You know, it's proven nowadays that if you make exercising fun, more people will stick to it. If it's too much like work, then we all end up giving up on it, right?
Right. The project will cost about $174,000, partly funded by the federal government. The Lions Club hopes to have the project finished and open by mid-May. In Arrington, the War Memorial Hall is getting some badly needed upgrades that will provide better accessibility to the community and will preserve the structure built to honor veterans of the First World War. The federal government will pay to install a covered wheelchair ramp and stairs. The building was originally built in 1922 for war veterans and is still a major hub for community events in Arrington. The accessibility upgrades will make sure that everyone can take part.
The accessibility is essential not just for wheelchairs, but also for walkers, for women with strollers, with babies. It just makes the hall universally accessible.
The hall is used for many, many years for dances, for concerts, for belly dancing and yoga classes and line dances and dog training in another era. And, you know, it is just a focus of local activity here.
Close to $35,000 in upgrades will come from the federal government's Community Infrastructure Improvement Fund, which will be matched by local grants. North Nanaimo's Pioneer Park will soon be city property. Nanaimo is finalizing a land swap with School District 68 at tonight's council meeting. 9 properties will change hands, including Pioneer Park. The school district owns the parcel of land, but it has been managed by the city. Initially, park's users were upset at the plan after rumblings of the wooded park being cut down and developed.
What we want to do is preserve this piece of land for all time's sake. It's a wonderful piece of land. It adjoins the Pioneer Park itself.
The mayor says it'll take time to finalize the deal, but once Pioneer Park belongs to the city of Nanaimo, it will be designated as a city park.